was in 1996, the debt was over, per household was over $250,000. You take into consideration mortgages and what have you. Okay. So, okay, all right. So U.S. debt is soaring. What is happening here? Oh yeah, here is another thing. It shows you beds in all our hospitals. In 1946, there were 10 beds for every 1,000. Now there are roughly, when this was done in 1988, there were about 4 beds. Go to an emergency room, you can die there. You can wait there 6 hours before they'll even see you. And this is our great country. Railroad mileage. The railroads are down. Here, manufacturing. Here's retail employment versus manufacturing. Here's retail employment. In 1953, there were about 7 million people employed in retailing. There's 22 million in about 1995. Meanwhile, manufacturing declined. Now we need now they tell you to go out and buy. Yeah, go out and buy. That's going to help the Japanese and Chinese economy, because chances are what you're going to buy is made in China. So, going to help the economy. But what's really pathetic, look at this. This shows you public transit in McKeesport, Pennsylvania. In 1960, it shows you the public, they had trolley cars. And there were trains. Now there aren't any. When I was living in New Haven, Connecticut in 1943, we had trolley cars. Remember those? They last forever. You got 3 tokens for a quarter. They went all night long. If you got to New Haven Railroad, you can take a trolley car all night. You can go any place. 3 tokens for a quarter. Got transfers. Now there are no trolley cars, and after 10 o'clock the buses don't even run. At one time you could literally take a trolley car from Maine all the way to Baltimore, Maryland. They were interconnected. We had an urban transportation system that's no longer there. You need a car. So our economy is vanishing. Now in 1946, when we demobilized 10 million servicemen, there was a surplus in 1946. So what did the government do? Created a number of new agencies. One of the new agencies they created was the Council of Economic Advisors. We didn't have any until 1946. Now in 1946, there was no question that America was the most powerful economy in the world. We rebuilt Europe and Japan. Americans in those days felt that only we could produce. America did anything it wanted to do. And you should ask yourself, how did we make it to 1946 without a Council of Economic Advisors? Since 1946, with a Council of Economic Advisors, the dollar has lost 95% of its value. Lost. Many things that used to be a nickel or a dime are now over $1. Used to be 2 Hostess cupcakes were a nickel, right? Huh? People are getting so much misinformation. I got a lot of information to give you, but I wanted to focus on this. I'm going to be putting something on my website. Because here is the point. What is the solution? The solution is, look, if we have to devote resources to fighting this new threat, the resources have to come from somewhere. We can't fight the threat just by running the presses and creating more printing press money. It's going to take real resources. Now, if we don't, resources are limited. Oh, there's another thing. Yeah, you want to. People aren't buying because they don't have any consumer confidence. Let me tell you, one of the first lessons you learn in economics, that human wants are unlimited. Everybody wants everything. Everybody, you don't have to stimulate consumer. The reason that people don't buy is they don't have the money or prices are too high. So if they don't buy, prices will come down. They start buying again. But the government doesn't want prices to come down because then it'll be lower tax collection. So they have to print money and say, here, go out and buy. The point is, you don't have to stimulate. Nobody buys because of consumer confidence. If you need a pair of shoes, you go out and you buy it if you have the money. The whole thing is ridiculous. What drives the economy is that you have to create a climate that is conducive to people going into business and hiring people. But I know many people who've reduced. I know a man who services pools, had 10 employees. And he couldn't make any money between unemployment compensation, workman's compensation, Social Security, all his taxes. He got rid of all his employees. And he just does it himself and he makes more money. I know more people who don't want to hire anybody because they don't want all the paperwork. That's why you have problems in this country. The government has literally destroyed him. A former Chief Justice, John Marshall, remember, the power to tax is the power to destroy. And that's what the federal government has been doing for the last 70 years, destroying America with excessive taxes and excessive regulations. And the way we have to fight this new threat, the government has to recognize that because we have to divert resources to this problem, we can't waste all the money we used to. We couldn't afford to do it in the past, but now it's crucial. And we have all kinds of wasted resources. The greatest piece of wasted resources is student loan programs where we make available $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 to these kids who go to college. They drink beer, they fool around, do nothing, waste resources, consume, and they come out owing 50 grand and they still don't know anything. I worked my way through college earning $1,000 a year as a waiter and selling magazine subscriptions on weekends. You can't do it anymore. But we can't afford that program. If we want to have new programs involving with defending America's new war, what are the programs we're going to give up? Well, one of the biggest wastes of resources is our whole public school system. We should have gone vouchers or closed half the school. In 1939 or 40, if you finished high school, the average American went to work. Now they screw around for 4 years doing nothing but being supported, consuming resources. And what do they learn? Most of them, nothing. So we can't afford that. The government has to stop a lot of their subsidy programs. We got to get the government out of education. We got to get the government out of subsidy program. We got to get the government out of charity. We got to stop all this welfare payments. We can't afford it. Where's the money going to come from? If our standard of living has been falling the way it's been falling, without this new war, how much further is it going to fall if we have to now absorb the increased cost that is going to be created because we now have to? But the government hasn't mentioned one program they're going to give up. Now, what's Alan Greenspan going to do? He's going to print more money. He's going to create more, he's going to inject more liquidity into the economic system. That's how they're going to fight this new war, with printing press money, which is, of course, is nonsense. So I wanted to show you how current this book is, because in this book I advanced the method by which the government can fight the war. Expand credit and lower taxes. There you go.